I am Gabe Ikard, and it is our absolute pleasure to be joined by a man that is possibly the biggest K-State football fan on the planet. He also happened to be one of the main characters on one of the most successful sitcoms in the history of television. Eric Stonestreet is joining us. What's going on, man? Long time no talk.
Yeah, well, no kidding. How you been doing?
Well, I'm good. OU 6-0. So I'm doing well. Sorry, Eric, I had to start there. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah. You barely, but James Winchester, who I think you probably played with at Oklahoma, right? Our long snapper at the Chiefs. He texted me right after Oklahoma beat us, and he's like, "How you doing, buddy?" And I said, "I'm doing good. Probably not as bad as you've been doing the last 3 years when we beat you, though." So it's like, every blind squirrel finds a nut from time to time. And how many more years will we have the chance to beat Oklahoma before you have to switch your podcast name?
Yeah, that's a great question. Let's start there. You graduated from K-State in '96, so you've seen the conference shift over time. Mm-hmm. What was your reaction when you saw that OU and Texas were leaving, and then that the conference was going to add UCF, Cincinnati, BYU, and Houston? Like, what all was going through your head when all that went down?
Same thing had happened when Colorado, Nebraska, and Missouri left. I was like, bye. Take care. Like Oklahoma, Texas, like, okay, we'll see you then. Like, I'm sure it's like, there's a lot of financial like repercussions and stuff like that the people that know and are a lot smarter than me. But as far as from a competition level, it's like Oklahoma and Texas, like, good luck, man. Like, take care. We're the Texas State champions at Kansas State the last, 3 years or something like that. Texas hasn't beat us in I don't know how long. And then Oklahoma, like, we had a winning streak going against Oklahoma. And so this whole notion of like, well, we're going to go where the competition is better, or maybe the money's, I can't argue with the money stuff, but like, okay, bye. And then we welcome in people that want to be here. It's like dating a girl that doesn't love you, right? Like, you deserve better. We deserve better than Oklahoma and Texas. Like, you go find your own path then. We'll see you at the bottom of the SEC.
I love it. Eric. Okay, before we dive in to your Wildcats, tell us a little bit about what you're doing with the National Pork Board. Tell us more about the National Pork Board's myth-busting campaign.
Well, yeah, that's where the Sooners and we can get along, is we love our pork, right? Oklahomans, good pork farms, pig farms down in Oklahoma. So Pork Board, came and asked me to help shed some positive light on pork producers of America. I grew up raising pigs in Kansas, went to Kansas State, as you know, agricultural school, and just thought it was a good full circle moment for myself to be able to use, what I've accomplished in my career, the notoriety, whatever you want to call it, and put some positive light on hardworking men and women who produce food for our country. So I just wanted to make sure, and the whole idea of the campaign is to make sure people understand what a modern pig farm is and what a modern pig farm isn't. And it sure isn't a dirty place where pigs are being slopped leftover food. It's a clean environment that pigs are raised ethically and cleanly and given well-balanced, nutritious meals. And look, it's an incredible place. And then just want to make sure everybody has their facts straight. So it's a good opportunity for me to kind of reconnect with how I grew up, which was raising pigs.
All right, let's talk some K-State Wildcats football.
Yep.
3-2, just coming off the bye week. And, speaking of farming, we got Farmageddon this week in Manhattan. How excited are you for that football game?
Well, I'm always excited. Iowa State's great. They've come along. They're kind of like K-State was for me, a couple years ago, where I always said, and it was you guys, it was Texas and Oklahoma that always, I would always say we would win big so we could lose bigger, right? And that's kind of how I think Iowa State is right now, where they're getting some recognition and they're almost there. And then all of a sudden everyone's looking, oh, look over there. There's Iowa State. And then in comes a team and beats them. And like, that's how I always felt. Like Kansas State would get ranked, just like last week, we got ranked 25 and then what? We get beat by Oklahoma, which, we're going to lose some football games and we may as well lose to Oklahoma. But I don't know. Iowa State's tough. I mean, I'm obviously pulling for K-State, but I'm nervous. I'm skeptical. I just don't know how. What I like about K-State football is if you go to K-State, you have a chance to play football. Like the rotation there is incredible. Like it's an all hands on deck approach at the K-State football program right now. Like that should be their main recruiting tip. It's like, come to K-State because you know what? You're going to play football.
Yeah. Chris Kleiman, he's definitely putting a lot of different guys on the field, but probably the most important guy he needs to have on the field is Skylar Thompson. We saw him come back against Oklahoma. He wasn't anywhere close to 100%. He wouldn't even leave the pocket, but he played really well and showed a lot of guts. How important is it for them to have Skylar Thompson, for him to be a little closer to 100% to pull off this win on Saturday?
Well, obviously 100%, but I want it most for Skylar Thompson. I mean, he needs his moment, and it feels like Skylar's had his almost moments a lot with the pandemic, with injury, and with everything else. So I'm just pulling for him as an individual and as a kid. I just want him to have his moment before his career at K-State's over because, he deserves it. But we'll see. The offensive line's been playing pretty good. We got a couple little 1-2 punch with the running backs, and we got some talented wide receivers. So if we can, and then obviously our special teams are always on point. We need those touchdowns. We need those bonus touchdowns, if you will, something on defense and something on special teams, and then I think we'll have a chance. But Iowa State's tough, man. I don't know.
You mentioned the backs, Deuce Vaughn, Joe Irvin. I'm curious. I mean, you've watched K-State football for a long time now. Where does Deuce Vaughn rank for
as far
you?
As excitement?
Excitement, entertainment. Like, because dude, he's so fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, up there, Darren Sproles-esque, up there. And I hate to make the comparison to Darren Sproles because they're both of a shorter stature, but like, look, I mean, he's an exciting football player to watch. He gets the ball and you have no idea where he's going to go with it, which is incredible to watch. So I'm happy for him. I'm happy that he's having the success he's having at K-State. And he's incredibly fun kid to watch. How about Byron Pringle for the Chiefs catching that touchdown the other night? Byron's a great guy. I love Byron Pringle. I'm proud he's a K-State guy. He had that fumble at the beginning of the Chiefs game, and I was like, oh boy, here we go, Tater Chips. You're going to be in trouble. But then he came back with the touchdown.
Tater Chips. That's good, man. That's good. Now, are you sure? Do you want to talk about your Chiefs?
I'll talk
about
them. I'm not scared.
Are you worried?
Am I worried? Well, I'm a fan first and foremost, so I'm only worried about my happiness on Sunday afternoons or Monday mornings. I mean, I'm not worried about this is always when I fall back on this. It's how I feel when I play golf. I'm really glad I don't try to support my family by playing golf. And with the Chiefs, it's the same thing. I'm really glad I'm not one of the people that has spent their entire life sweating, lifting weights, bleeding, crying, trying to make it, and then go out there and have the disappointment of a loss. I am, at the end of the day, just like most people, a fan. And I have to keep that into perspective. I don't have any right to be sadder, madder, or more upset than the dudes out there working their ass off to play the game, right? And it's these armchair quarterbacks and people that have never strapped on shoelaces that criticize the team and criticize the players that annoy me the most. It's like, fire so-and-so, replace so-and-so. It's like, you don't even know how to put cleats on your feet and you're giving people that play the sport advice. Like, shut up. So my answer is, yeah, I'm disappointed. I'm sad, but I have it all in perspective. And we're still the Chiefs. We still have Patrick Mahomes. We still have Andy Reid. And I can promise you when it's time to play meaningful, not that these games that we've lost aren't meaningful, but when it's time to play really meaningful football, I think we'll have it together.
That is a tremendous perspective to have. And you look at what the Chiefs have done so far, right? That's a very talented 2-3 football team. And I'm
I mean, look at
convinced
the San Diego game. Do you think San Diego's game plan was like, all right, guys, before we get in there, we got to have the Chiefs turn the ball over 4 times. Then we can beat them. Like, that wasn't their game plan. Like, we should have won that game. Look at the passing yards that we gave up compared to what the Raiders gave up the next week to the Chargers. Like, we should have won that game. Not making excuses. Look at the Ravens game. Look how close we were to winning that game. So your perspective is correct that we are a talented football team. Now, we got our asses handed to us by the Bills. There's no doubt about that, right? I'm not making excuses there, but you can make an argument that we should have only lost one game so far, and that is to the Bills.
Yeah. Right now, you look at Buffalo, number 1 offense in the league, number 1 defense in the league. They're
tough, man. Josh Allen's a heck of a quarterback.
No doubt about it. Okay, so now that do you have now that Modern Family has been wrapped for what, almost a year and a half now? Is that right?
Yeah.
Do you have more free time? Do you have more time to where you kind of just what do you put that into, or what do you got going on other than watching Kansas State play games on Saturdays and watching the Chiefs play games on Sundays?
Well, I've kind of moved back to Kansas City, and I've been here basically most of the time. I have a house here with my fiance, Lindsay, and I have some property here that, I goof around on and sort of dream of things to build and things to do. So that's been my creative outlet. And then I went back and shot for 7 or 8 weeks a TV show that'll be out later in January, the end of this year, or at the end of this year or the beginning of next year. And then I'm just doing little pops and projects here, but I'm really enjoying, doing this, like the National Pork Board asking me to get the word out about and myth busting of pork. It's like, it's something that I can do, that I like, that I'm passionate about, that I enjoy. It doesn't necessarily feel like work, because, I did that for 11 years. I went to work and was up every morning. This morning when I was showering at 5 o'clock in the morning, I was like having flashbacks. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. So I'm just enjoying my time off. I just turned 50. I'm not retired, but I would say I'm semi-retired. And then I just take work as it comes, and it has to be something that I want to do. It has to be something that I enjoy.
Yeah, no, that sounds pretty nice. All right. So how do you think it's going to go Saturday for your Wildcats?
Well, I think it's going to be a tight game. It's always an amazing game. Like, look, we want that. And that's again, like, that's another reason to tell you and your Oklahoma boys and Texas boys, take care. Don't let the door hit you, because like the Big 12 is going to survive. And now, we're going to create those rivalries. K-State game. It doesn't matter, this national thing, right? I don't care if people in Maryland care that KU and K-State are playing. People in Kansas care if KU and K-State are playing. I don't care if people in Florida care that the Iowa State, Farmageddon, Kansas State game's on. People in Iowa and Kansas care. Like, that's what college sports and college football is. Oklahoma, Texas, the SEC, it's a different machine, right? It's a different thing. So you guys go do that. We're going to go here. We're going to have the good old wholesome Iowa-Kansas rivalry called Farmageddon, where we're going to eat some pork ribs afterwards. And you guys go get your tails kicked by Alabama every year.
All right. Now, I'm pretty sure I've told you this story before, but it's been a while since we've talked. So it is one of my favorite stories from college football. We go to Manhattan in 2013, my senior year, and I'm the speaking captain. It's the game's in, kind of later November. It's cold as hell. And one Eric Stonestreet is the honorary captain at the coin toss. And I lean over to you and I say, hey, man, me, and it was my girlfriend at the time, my wife now. I go, hey, me and my girlfriend, we absolutely love Modern Family. You're our favorite character. You're the best. Thank you. Thank you for what you do. We laugh all the time at the show. It's awesome. And you turn to me with a straight face and you say, hey, tell your girlfriend I said, what's up? and it was, I was like, it made the story so much better for me to tell my now wife after the game. But right after that, I lean over to you. I go, man, I love you, but just so you know, we're going to kick y'all's ass today. And we did. And you were such a good sport, man. So it's one of my favorite stories.
Were you a center or guard?
I was a center. I was the guy leading all the traffic, man.
Was Belldozer the quarterback then?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Blake is one of my best friends. He was a groomsman in my wedding. Talk all the time.
Blake. I love his whole family.
I'm keeping him up, through this rough patch that the Chiefs are going through, positive reinforcement, Eric. That's what we do, man.
I love our Creed Humphrey. I love Creed, man. He plays with an attitude.
I told anyone that wanted to listen, because with what Oklahoma did from a scheme perspective, especially in the run game for Creed, I thought they didn't let him showcase everything he could do as a center, because I knew how athletic he was, because, I'd worked out with him, I'd been around him, and it is not a surprise at all that he is playing as well as he is. I've told anyone that wanted to listen, he was going to be a better pro than he was a college player.
Well,
and I think he's on his way.
You look at the interior line of the Chiefs. I mean, at the end of the season, depending on how it goes, it doesn't really depend on how it goes. I think next year you will be able to say the Chiefs have the best interior offensive line in the league.
I completely agree. Spent a lot of money on that interior as well. So,
but we got Creed and Trey cheap for a few more years. We got a lot in Joe Tooney, but those two dudes at right and left, at center and right guard, man, we got for a couple of years. Oh, our battery's running low. Anyway, sorry about that. Hold on. Are you frozen?
No, we still got you.
But anyway, I think we'll have a great interior line, and then we got Orlando over there, Zeus at left tackle. But you know what? I was just trying to get in your head that day at the game. I was just trying, when I said, tell your girlfriend what's up, I was trying to make you think like, wait, where was my girlfriend last night? Stonestreet was in town. I couldn't get a hold of her for that hour. Where was she? Was she with Stonestreet? And then just get in your head, and we were just but it didn't work.
Oh, you're the best, man.
All right, be good.
Keep doing the great work you're doing with the National Pork Board. You're doing a great job spreading positivity when it comes to pig farms, Eric. As always, we appreciate your love for K-State football, your love for Big 12 football, and we appreciate your time, man.
All right, be good. Tell your girlfriend what's up.
Attaboy. Oh, no, Eric Stonestreet, everyone.
Hold on, let me try that again. Tell your wife what's up.
Nice. I'll tell my 3-month-old son you said what's up too.
Oh God, how embarrassing. No, don't tell him that. All right, be good, man. Be good.
All right. Eric Stonestreet, everybody.